Hello everyone, welcome to tea time on Wednesday this week. I don't know if anybody's going to join me at this strange time, but I know a few of you will probably watch this later, so I'm going to go ahead and record anyway. I am out next to the river in Mount Vernon on my way back to San Juan Island because I was in Montana last week teaching. And I have my little dog Breeze with me. We're on a riverside trail that sometimes we walk before we go to the ferry. So today, I wanted to talk a little bit about some contrasting and complementary ideas. Come on, Breeze, let's go. And that is, I was just in Montana, and a good friend of mine, Emily, hosted the clinic there. And she runs a coaching program that is about embodying the wild that you have in yourself. And that amused me because, the program that I run is about taming wild. And to have those two contrasting ideas, I was really thinking about how is that complementary? How is that good? How is that different? Or the same? And the thing that I really started thinking about was the fact that when we explore who we are individually, there's a sort of wildness about I want what I want when I want it. And that's incredibly good in terms of getting to know who you are as an individual. And in some ways, we really respect that in the horses in the beginning of training. When we do freedom-based training, is we really sort of respect who they are as individuals. We don't ask them to do anything yet. We don't ask them to shape their behavior yet. We get to know them as individuals. And then after we know them really well as individuals, then we start applying the principles of taming wild, which makes us and the horses better partners for each other. And so in a way, I think that it really is complementary. On the one hand, you really want to encourage this individualism, this uniqueness. I am who I am, my horse is who they are. And then once you get to know each other, then you can go from there into the ideas of taming that wild instinct that makes you think your opinion is better than everybody else's opinion, that your idea is more valuable than your horse's idea, etc. Taming wild is really about building a relationship where my ideas are valuable, but they're valuable in relationship with someone else's ideas. And in order to do that, I have to tame my wild streak a little bit that wants what it wants when it wants it. Relationship is about building something that is bigger and better than any one individual. And that's what's beautiful about a relationship. So that's why I called it taming wild. We all have this wild streak that wants something. And that's how we know our unique individual nature. And that's beautiful. And so I just want to sort of mention that even though I love this idea of taming wild, it is part of also acknowledging the wild within each of us that is more individual and less inclined to be adaptive to a relationship. And I think we can get out of balance in any direction. So sometimes we're out of balance and we give too much of ourselves to others, and we lose a little bit of ourselves and what is important to us. And then other times we will go the other direction where we don't give enough of ourselves and our point of view feels more correct than everybody else's point of view. And so we have to kind of be aware there's a balance there. I have to show you guys. The roses are just coming into bloom. Isn't that beautiful? They're just everywhere, scattered along the paths. Breezy and I are out walking on a riverside path in Mount Vernon. We're on our way to the ferry to head back to San Juan Island. because I was just in Montana for the last week, for those of you who are joining later here. So this idea that wild, individualistic instinct is strong, is valuable, can be nurtured, I think that's really beautiful. And I love that Emily brought it up when we were talking, because from a coaching point of view, if we're talking about individual growth, we really want to know who each of us is individually that's different from the rest. Hi Regina, hello to you from Mount Vernon to Ontario. So it's a beautiful thing, this balance between our wild individualism balanced by perhaps taming that a little bit and heading into a little bit more, I'm going to switch hands here, a little bit more adaptivity, adapting to each other, adapting to everyone's needs. And I will tell you that I named my program Taming Wild because it felt like it was a piece that was missing in horse training. It felt like so much of horse training was forcing horses to be what we wanted them to be as humans. And hi Anne, welcome. Hi Florentine. So if we can take into account, this is what I want as a human. I understand it, I respect it, I revel in it, it's beautiful. And I'm also going to take the horse's point of view sometimes. I'm also going to think, what does the horse want? Maybe the horse's wants are equally valuable. And what kind of things could we do together that the horse enjoyed as much as the human? What kind of things that would stretch the human in order to really revel in the horse's unique needs? And then on the flip side of that, what things really stretch the horse and revel in the human's wants and desires? And I think being in relationship is all about that mixture. And so much of horse training I see really focuses only on what the human wants, not so much on what the horse wants. And so I guess when I travel and do clinics and I teach my online courses and all those things, it's really fun for me to explore the other side of it, which is why it's called Taming Wild. Now, I learned a lot of things this week. A lot of this is going to go into my video in the Patreon group this Friday. I did some great, really fun videos, and I feel like some things got really clear for me. I'm not going to dive into that in tea time today because I'm still digesting it, but I thought I would give you a little bit of a hint of what I'm thinking about, and then I'll go more into depth on it in my Friday video. So, yeah, John, it's a little bit like allowing wild, allowing both the individual side and the partnership combination. And there is an allowing of what's possible, whether I'm an individual or whether I'm part of a partnership. So those are some thoughts for you guys to think about. Both sides of the coin are equally valuable. And then you get to decide, what's the balance? How do we put it all together? How do we build a relationship that honors each unique individual and yet tames that part that might want too much for the relationship right away? So, Breezy! Here he comes! So I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of a backdrop of roses from the Pacific Northwest. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are. And I will see you next week.